Whether you're absolutely loaded with money or you are completely broke, whatever money you have and how you choose to spend it matters. It matters to yourself, the people around you, and of course it matters to God. I'm not a financial expert, but I am a young Christian who has always had a tendency of being interested in personal finance. That being said, today I want to help you whether you are interested in finance as well, or you just simply want a basic understanding of money and the way God views it. So, let's look at 3 Bible verses that will give us 3 key takeaways and main points for us to live by when looking at how to view money. 1 Timothy 6:10 states, "For the love of money is the root of all sorts of evil, and some by longing for it have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs." Again, the love of money is the root of all sorts of evil. What does that mean? Money itself isn't evil, but it can be when idolized or when we put our faith and hope in money. That's when it becomes evil. Don't let the use or pursuit of money come before living out your faith for Christ. The point is really just that simple, but still important to remember. Money is great until it is idolized, until it is loved. Moving on to point 2, which is Proverbs 22:7, "The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower becomes the lender's slave." This is a common financial biblical principle, but it's still something that's very important. In our world today, with social media especially, it seems that everyone has the nicest cars, most expensive phones, and the biggest houses, which in return makes others feel like they are behind, or even just at least a tad bit discontent. That in return leads to people buying things they can't afford, pushing them into debt. It is not fun to be in debt. The Bible itself says that you are a slave to whoever is lending to you. That is how important it is to avoid debt. So as Christ followers, what is our solution? Well, money won't make you happy, and buying things you can't afford to impress people won't sustain you either. You shouldn't be looking at money to satisfy. It should only be looked at as a resource, and looking towards Christ for your satisfaction is what you should do instead. Basically, avoid debt like the plague, and if there are things such as an education degree or buying a house which require you to take on debt, then be heavily aware of attacking that debt sooner rather than later. Moving on to point 3, Psalm 24:1. "The earth is the Lord's and all it contains, the world and those who dwell in it." Basically, just like everything else the world has to offer, money is God's as well. Meaning we are simply just stewards of God's money, and we should make sure that what we are doing with such resources are honoring Him, as well as what we do with our money is what He would want us to do with our money. So what are things that honors God? Taking care of family, taking care of ourselves even, taking care of friends, donating to a local church, donating to charities. There are many other things as well, but we'd be here for a while if I kept listing them. But there are also things we shouldn't do, such as buying things we aren't going to use, wasting money in general, or even spending money on things that are sinful or not glorifying God. Similarly to things we should spend money on, there would be a lot more things I could list here, but we would be here forever. Now, when it comes to giving money away or back to God, there are a lot of opinions on what you should give. Some say tithing is all you need to do. Some say that you need to sell everything you own. Some may even say to invest your money today so that you have more to give away tomorrow. Look, I'm not going to be adding to this heated debate today, but what I will do is say, hey, if we are approaching money as if it's all God's in the end, and you are carefully praying and bringing community into speaking into your life and your decisions, then there could be many different answers to how to deal with money. What I will say though is that if you are bringing any money in at all, which could look like money earned from a job, or even like if your parents are giving you an allowance or something like a large inheritance, I think even the action of taking an amount out to give to others and God helps put your heart in the right place of giving, and it puts you in a place of saying, hey, this isn't mine, this is God's. Whether that's 5%, 10%, 20%, or even like upwards of 90% of your income. Look, to wrap up this point on giving, simply just start today, even if it's $1. It'll at least put you in a good habit. So to list the 3 main points of money that we went over today quickly: idolizing money is evil, avoid debt at all costs, and money is God's, not ours. The long story short here is that we should be aware of where our money is going and make sure that our decisions align with God's values. And the way to do such is looking towards the Bible, which is of course God's word and what we did today, and then as well as having faithful friends around us to direct us in making decisions. If you learned something from this video, subscribe and consider checking out another one of my videos on my channel. God bless.